So I'll be there, you'll be there, the whole brotherhood will be there. And I'm not sure you have to go out and challenge mortality. If you just continue taking the steps that are in front of you to take, where the miracles are happening, that in itself is going to take care of mortality. It is so easy when your upbringing teaches you that you are a sinner and that you are, by virtue of existing, guilty. Before you ever had a chance to do anything wrong, you were guilty. It's hard in the face of that to dare to feel good when good is happening, or to embrace your good when it's unfolding in a more boundary-less way, as with your relationship here. It's hard to embrace it without constantly feeling that guilt ought to be operating, that you must be doing something wrong, especially if you're feeling good. And I'm telling you that this is just conditioning. You have been conditioned to feel guilty just because you exist. And you must be willing to abandon it as you embrace your good, so that something you've been taught doesn't undermine the good that you're letting in and spoil it. Oh, but how do I know I'm not being selfish? How do I know that I'm not just doing what I want to do and to hell with everyone else? Well, how do you know? You know, because in spite of the arguments against what you're doing, you do recognize the light in it, the rightness of it. You feel the utter appropriateness of the steps you've taken in forming this relationship. And you've got to dare to honor that and not let your conditioning nip at your heels and distract you from embracing your good. You've got to be willing to persist. You've got to be willing to persist with your miracles. Oh, but you don't deserve them. Oh, yeah, miracles may have happened, but it was a fluke. I'm very grateful they slipped through, but I know I didn't deserve them. Dare to be true to your miracles. By the same token, if you want to make work out of it, go ahead. But you're not being irresponsible to stay true to and committed to your miracles. That is not stupidity. And this applies to everyone, and you each have your own scenarios. And at the bottom line, all of them call for you to get to that place in you where you can be utterly honest, or where you're being utterly honest with yourself, where you're genuinely paying attention in the place where you can feel what's right, no matter what anyone else thinks and no matter what your conditioning suggests about you if you're doing that. And then you've just got to be from that knowing and let the chips fall where they may. And when I say let the chips fall where they may, I don't mean being thoughtless or inconsiderate of everyone else. When you're coming from that place of genuineness, you will be thoughtful, but you will not take thought for how everyone else is feeling about it. You see? Okay. I'm sorry if it's been a lot of work for you, but you could have even made it more work.
True.
And I'm very grateful, and the two of you can dare to be very grateful that you have, well, in so many words, reached for the brass ring and taken it. You've taken hold of a new good in your life that has changed your life. I'm glad you reached for it instead of saying, well, maybe next year. Or maybe next lifetime. Dare, I'm going to say this, dare to be irresponsible and thereby happy and pleased with your new life. Dare to be pleased to be together without understanding why you're together. Dare to be together without ever knowing what's keeping you together. What happens when you peg a butterfly? It becomes a part of a collection, doesn't it? And it's dead. If you want to enjoy what a butterfly is, you've got to let it soar and fly. You've got to let it be what it is. You've got to let your relationship be what it is without pegging it. Got it? Okay.
Thank you, dear brother.
You are welcome. We have a question from downstairs, if you will come upstairs. If you'll hold the microphone up. Oh, there it is.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I just want to say one little thing. I want to make a comment, if I can talk. I just ran up the stairs. I was looking at some old papers recently in my drawer, and I found a letter my little daughter wrote to me when she was 7. And she said, "Dear," and she didn't know how to spell, so imagine the spelling. She said, "I just love you so much. I explode with love for you." And as I was driving down the street during the week before I came here, I felt in my gratitude so much for this gathering place and for the people here and for all that I've learned. And I felt like I exploded with gratitude for everything that I've gotten here. And I just want to say thank you to Raj, to Paul, to Susan, to all of you here. And I do feel very grateful because I know that the things that we are learning here and we're hearing here are so true. To dare to grab hold of the brass ring and to see the truth of life is amazing. And I just want to say thank you. And my question, and I hope that it would apply to other people here, so I have a daughter.
It doesn't have to.
Okay, but it probably will, or maybe people who might hear this at some point. My daughter is 17.
It's okay for this answer to be only for you.
Okay, thank you.
You deserve it.
I do. I feel kind of bad I can't get it on my own, but it's a little, probably too close. Okay, part of the process, I believe, and I call it a process, and that's probably not a good word, but a process of waking up and finding that we do have the right to be happy and to feel our joy and that our life feels like joy, for me has been to let go of agendas, and it's felt really great. And it's gotten to the point sometimes where I wonder if I'm too lackadaisical about life, but yet the result is so profoundly enjoyable that I know it's right. So this problem I have with my daughter who's 17, and it's been a similar situation I've had with my 3 sons too. Not good students in school. My daughter she's a junior in high school. My older 2 boys finished school, although they didn't get diplomas. They got GEDs. They've not liked school. I've raised them by myself, which hasn't been bad. And I don't understand why they're all so bad in school. And my daughter now, the rest of them at least finished, and she wants to drop out.
Maybe it's because the school system is not meeting the needs. Maybe it's because they recognize that it's bullshit.
Well, that's what I was thinking, and that's why it hasn't bothered me so much. But I just wanted to hear that from you. And I want to know what I can help her to do. So she doesn't feel bad about it.
You can help her to you can at least convey to her that whether she has had good grades or not says nothing about her capacity or her ability or her intelligence, and that she can still learn whatever she wants to learn, and she can still move in a direction that is fulfilling for her. The kids today are rebelling against being brainwashed. Brainwashed into definitions of success and failure. Success and failure that are determined by their grades, their diplomas, their degrees, because innately they feel their worth, their pre-existing worth, and they know that these degrees and grades and diplomas say absolutely nothing whatsoever about their worth. Now, I encourage you to support her in doing whatever identifies worth to her. In other words, to pursue whatever feels worthwhile to her.
Okay.
Let her know that you recognize that the definitions of worth she's being provided with in school are not true.
You know, to let her stay home or whatever, to help her find her other, whatever path she wants to pursue, is illegal. I mean, I can't let her not go to school.
I understand. So do follow the law. But let her know that you don't mind if she pursues with gusto the things that feel worthwhile to her in her schooling, and doesn't pursue with gusto the things that don't feel worthwhile to her. That it doesn't alter your perception of her worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds very good, thank you.
You might even explore alternative schooling, where there is more responsiveness in the educational program to the natural inclination that children have to learn.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are going to take a short break. Okay. Before we go into another question, I have some additional comments relative to the questions that have been asked or the subjects discussed. The word infrastructure is a word that has come into play more and more prominently over the last 10 years. And at the level of society, let us say, societal infrastructure is called culture, the culture of a society. And what it amounts to are mutually agreed upon definitions, mutually agreed upon arrangements, such as how far from a freeway exit is the exit sign announcing it. Little things like that condition everyone, even though you don't realize that a freeway sign conditions you. These condition you so that no matter where you are in the country, you know from experience just how far the next exit is from the sign you see. If you don't believe me, try driving in Canada where the distance is different and see if it doesn't make you feel unsure. Now, why am I talking about infrastructure and culture and mutually agreed upon definitions? Because waking up is always going to involve abandoning current definitions. In the process of abandoning current definitions, you are no longer going to fit into the current infrastructure. This is going to make you feel unsure and uneasy to a certain degree, and it's also going to cause those around you to feel unsure and uneasy because you're no longer dependable. You can't be depended upon to react to the same things in the same way that everyone else does. Infrastructure keeps you bound, even though it does allow for a smoothness of function that makes it currently valuable. And why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up so that you will understand that there will be a certain amount of work associated with boundary breaking. Boundary breaking really means breaking current definitions, either your own or those supplied to you by others. And what does this mean? It means that as you wake up, as you are no longer automatically bound to conditioned responses, you are going to have to do something you're not used to doing, and that is pay attention. When all of your responses are automatic, you don't have to pay attention. You all know how to get together and shoot the shit, don't you? Whether it's the ladies at a coffee klatch, or it's the guys at the bowling alley, or whether it's you at work with your boss or your coworker, you all know how to shoot the shit. In other words, you know how to get together and exchange conditioned responses and think that you're doing something original. Oh, I really get along well with everybody. Well, that just means you know how to shoot the shit well. Did you try being real? Did you try being real with them? Every aspect of your day, for the most part, is permeated with conditioned responses and conditioned behaviors. Well, the moment you start leaning into a deeper place within you, and you start experiencing revelation and insight that shows you what we might call a new culture, a new way of responding to everything that isn't traditional. When you do that, you have to hang in there to find out how this new culture works in the old culture. And none of you know ahead of time how that will work. And the two of you are finding that you have a new culture in your relationship that doesn't fit the old culture. And so I'm encouraging you to pay attention to the new culture so that you may live it from it. And if you will persist in hanging in there and coming from that new culture that you're experiencing, it will cause you to feel at a loss because you don't have the hang of it yet. It's not second nature to you yet. Because the larger experience of fulfillment is a larger experience of, I'm going to say, reality, it will always have the capacity to fit into the old culture without causing a revolution. And this is important. If you stay with the miracles, as I said, if you stay with the new perspective that you are experiencing, instead of becoming distracted by what everyone thinks or what your prior conditioning laid upon you, you will find that the new won't overthrow the old. That's what I mean by revolution. But will find a natural way to interface with it that doesn't disturb it and cause great fear among those around you who don't have the new view. Because it's a clearer experience of reality, you will still appear to be responsible, thoughtful, dependable, and grounded. Even though you're no longer operating according to the old rules. Revolution is the effect of a different point of view being enforced upon the status quo in an attempt to overthrow it. But the clearer experience of reality suffuses the status quo with freshness. Why? Why not overthrow? Because the nature of a larger experience of reality is love. And so it finds natural expression in the one who's experiencing the expanded view. When I answered the question about the schooling and the youngsters today who recognize crap when they hear it and will not cooperate with it, it would appear that I had said, your daughter can do anything she wants. Anything she wants is all right. That could be interpreted as complete disregard for law and order. And that is not the case. Because if her daughter will stay in touch with her experience of her worth and not let it be violated by the concepts that are being enforced upon her by the school system, she will naturally try to find ways to express her worth that everyone will ultimately be able to recognize as worthwhile, you see, and not an expression of anarchy. So it's important to have that context to wrap the answers that I've already given today in.